All right, and we're live. Wow, what a weekend. So over the weekend, Trump slaps new tariffs on major partner, and this morning, markets are opening in the red. European markets are plunging. Mexico and Canada strike back with revenge tariffs. The dollar is surging to a five-year high. Sounds like good news. Might not be. Bitcoin is crashing below 100,000, and a lot is going on here in the market. So we got to take a look at this, unpack this, and talk about what this means for you, your portfolio, and also our trading. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Market. Today is Monday, February 3rd, and in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. Mark, geez, this is what the heat map looked like pre-market, a sea of red.
Oh yeah, a pretty nasty move across the board. Very few companies spared when the realization that Trump does plan to use tariffs became a reality.
Yeah, so we got to look at pre-market of what was happening there. So this is basically, I mean, over the weekend we heard that Trump is going through with what he said he would do and announced tariffs against Mexico and Canada of 25% and against China of 10%. And this is where we see yesterday, last night when the markets opened. I mean, we just see huge, massive gap down. The E-mini S&P at some point trading down almost 2%. I mean, I think it was 1.7, 1.8%. Tech stocks hammered, and this is what we woke up to this morning.
Yeah, pretty much everything was lower. And this is where we know that President Trump said that he planned to use tariffs, and everybody thought, well, maybe it's not going to be as bad, or maybe it's just a negotiating tactic, which it still could be. But then all of a sudden, 25%, like you said, against Mexico and Canada, 10% against China is 10% for energy related imports from Canada. And then President Trump said that the European Union comes next, and investors trying to figure out if we are headed into a nasty trade war where we see a slower economy, higher inflation, and global supply chain issues, which could just be a huge thorn in the side for any economic progress in the US. But maybe there's a bit of a negotiating tactic at play because we saw a little bit of a move early today.
Yeah, here's the 5-minute chart of the S&P, and as you can see, we opened lower, tried to push higher, and then we're trading at session lows. When finally some news broke that, and let's take a look at this. So the news that we just received a few minutes ago is that Trump said, okay, we're pausing the Mexico tariffs for 1 month after he said, him and the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, came to an agreement on border troops.
Yeah, and this is what some investors had hoped for, that it wasn't something that was permanently on the table and that it could be changed rather than going toe to toe, head to head. And so far, at least with the southern border, it seems as though there's some progress there. And the market's liking that. Actually, we talked about it in our mastermind call. I was looking at IWM. You were looking at IWM. We identified a level that we really liked to potentially sell puts at, and I was this close to putting an order. That's what happened.
I had an order in the market. I had an order in the market. I had an order in the market to sell puts at $1.80, and I think it went up as high as $1.76, and then we reversed. Now we're not out of the woods yet. So first of all, what
True.
about these tariffs? These tariffs were supposed to hit tonight. I mean, at midnight. So effective tomorrow, the tariffs are in effect. And I mean, right now, with Mexico pausing, still no news from Canada and China yet. Especially China has been extremely quiet and didn't say much. And we haven't heard anything from Canada or much yet, other than that there will be retaliation, there will be revenge tariffs. So,
Yeah.
and this were the markets this morning also excuse me, looking at the VIX, the volatility index, the fear index, I mean, we see that overnight it spiked massively higher, trading above 20. Then in the open at first, a little bit calmer, but then lots of uncertainty here. Now, some of the uncertainty going out of the market. So, because we just hear, okay, the tariffs with Mexico are paused. They're not off the table, but they are paused. And we'll see what happens here with Canada, China, and then, of course, the big question mark, what about the European Union?
Sure, and that's on the table.
Yeah. I mean, also, I mean, cryptocurrency is reacting wildly to all of this. I mean, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin this morning trading as low as, let me just bring it up here, as low as 91,000. And right now, trading almost at session highs at 98,000 again. What a move today for cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, that's a big reversal there and a decent slide. Looks like there is some support around 92, but right now we're trading kind of mid range with the ranges that we've had over the last 2 months. Nowhere near 108, though.
Yeah, and I mean, did you see Ethereum? Look at this. I mean, we got to zoom out so that we see of what happened here to Ether.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. I mean, at some point, this is where we're talking about November, trading at 4,000 after the election, and then over the weekend, pulling back here as low as what was it? I think it was even below 2150,
Yeah.
$2,150. Wow, almost cut in half. So Ethereum, completely different story than Bitcoin.
It was down 27% for the day. And since Friday, it looks like it's down 18% and was as low as 30%, 36% lower. That's a huge move.
I mean, from the high that we made in November, I mean, we were down 48% here. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, and I mean,
Interesting.
it's really surprising because this week, and this is where let's go back to not the pre-market, but where we are right now. So we see that stocks are somewhat stabilizing, and this week it wasn't supposed to be about tariffs. I mean, looking at the calendar, this week, first of all about earnings. I mean, earnings kicking into high gear. This is the week, I believe, where most companies of the S&P 500 are reporting. More than 20% of the companies are reporting this week.
Yeah, approximately 120 S&P 500 companies reporting, including Alphabet, Amazon, Palantir, Disney. So it was supposed to be an earnings and a jobs week.
Earnings and jobs. This is what it's all about because looking at the economic calendar, we see that it is jobs week. What does it mean when we talk about jobs week? Well, this is where we see usually on Tuesday the JOLTS jobs opening, which is a newer report that has been introduced during the pandemic. Then on Wednesday, the ADP non-farm employment change. Thursday, the typical weekly unemployment claims. And then Friday, the big one, the jobs report for January.
And that plays into the inflation picture. So we will see what that data is. Small correction, Marcus. I think that Jolt's job was created after the financial housing crisis, but
Oh,
either way, splitting hairs, splitting hairs. It was an event that led to the creation. You're absolutely right, but I think that was before
yeah, and
the
I,
pandemic.
I don't think that it was a red flag report before the pandemic. I don't remember it as a red flag report. Might have been orange or yellow that people paid attention to it,
Sure.
but not as much as during the pandemic when suddenly we had all of the unemployment, and then after this we had the jobs boom.
Not a big deal. Just thought I'd point it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Um, what do I want to talk about? I will go to our trades here in just a moment. But okay, we talked about earnings. We talked about economic. There was something. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Inflation, inflation, inflation. Let's talk about what the Fed is doing. Last week, we had the Fed meeting, and the Fed said, well, right now, we are seeing that the jobs market is still strong, and we don't see as much progress towards inflation as we want to see. So they basically took out of their statement that they are seeing progress being made towards their 2% target. I mean, right now, the earliest that traders are expecting we will see another interest rate cut will be in June.
And the way things are going, that could be a stretch. We'll have to see.
Well, especially with more tariffs coming in. I mean, more tariffs means that
Exactly.
higher price on goods, right? And therefore, inflation probably popping up again. So, a lot going on here. A lot going on. You want to hop over to our positions?
Sure.
All right. Let's see. What do we have? WTF. I mean, WTF, we did have in January at some point around what? 10 positions, 9 positions, then had only a few left. We already closed last week. Marvel. Again, for me, it's Marvel. But I hear you. With a profit. This morning, we exited AVGO Broadcom, another trade that we entered just a few days ago, right, Mark?
Yeah, that one worked out nicely. It was trading pretty nicely on Friday, but following the rules this time, a little bit of a dip on Monday, but still a nice win.
Yeah. So right now with that, we have basically no WTF trades left. Let's see how today shakes out. If today we might get, or tomorrow we might get a few more WTF trades up. But I mean, recently they've been working out pretty good.
Yeah, we've had a nice little run.
Yeah. All right, for the wheel. Let's first take a look at our positions, and then this morning we had quite a few signals on the scanner. So maybe we can talk about some of these. Mark, what do you think?
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, CSIQ, Canadian Solar, just because of the name alone, got hit this morning, right? I mean, even though it is not necessarily a major Canadian company, I mean, I think most of the production is happening in China, but they're called Canadian Solar. So, with tariffs this morning, they were at first plummeting. Now, kind of right back where we opened here this morning. We'll see. Seems that we're pushing to fill the gap. Nothing for us to do here.
Exactly. And with the higher interest rates potentially and the tariffs, not what investors for CSIQ wanted. But like I said, a pretty nice comeback.
Yeah. Same way with Halliburton. I mean, Halliburton, wow. I mean, this is where my break even at 31.61. And just a couple of weeks ago, we were already trading at 30.50. So right around there, right now, testing these lows at where? At around 26 again this morning, 25.70. Bouncing back from an earlier sell off here that we had just in the broad market. Nothing for us to do. I mean, now it's time to really complete the W formation here and make another push towards these highs that we had earlier this year
There we
in the
go.
beginning of January, mid-January.
I like I like that idea, and I mean, gosh, investors trying to figure out what the Trump administration policy on oil is going to mean for Halliburton. So you had that huge run up after the election, but then pulling right back, and this one's been an interesting one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Very similar to
Oil field
BP, right?
services. Well, Halliburton's oil field services, where so that there's a correlation to a point, but um, yeah, British Petroleum, same reason for a drop.
Yeah, but I mean, here we're not making these lows, so we don't see really the typical W formation. Slightly lower here this morning, down 1.6%. So we'll see what happens there. That's a position that you're in. Now, position that I'm in, Coles, and Coles also this morning, a little bit all over the place. Pushing lower at first, right now trading about 13 again. Needed to move a little bit higher. So after flying a rescue mission right now, my break even at 1708. My cost base is at 1880. Come on, Colts. Time for you to find a low and then start rallying.
That's plan.
That's a plan. All right, let's see what else. Merck this morning up against the market. Overall, the market still down right now, and Merck up just 0.1%. Not a whole lot, but I'll take it.
Yeah, nice to see the recovery there. Looks like earnings tomorrow.
Earnings tomorrow, so we'll see what Merck has to say. We can up over to the earnings calendar here, or the earnings analyzer, and we see that, okay, typically 50-50 chance of a 7-day move up, 50-50 chance here of an overnight price reaction. So last two times the overnight price change was to the downside. Well, we'll see what happens here tomorrow.
Ready for it, ready to break
Right.
that recent streak.
Yeah, and then I mean, talking about earnings, UPS last week reporting earnings, and at first getting hit hard, and this is because they announced that they're cutting their Amazon business by 50%. Now, this is where, of course, this is a big part of their business, but it is not a very profitable part of their business. So, and they said over the next few years, we want to basically improve our bottom line by $1 billion. So we want to show more than $1 billion in profits. And initially, the market said, "Well, but what about Amazon?" So initial reaction here to the downside, and that's where this morning trading at 111.66. Right now, my break even at 126.64. So we need to wait and see of what's happening here. If UPS now has found a bottom and can start filling this gap here, or what will happen over the next few weeks.
Exactly. So far, I know that there have been some analysts readjusting their target, but it seems like that it's still a buy overall with people that are covering it. But this one was a rough one. Not what we wanted to see from that quarter.
Yeah, I think it was UPS's worst day in their history since they started trading in 1999. So, I mean, that is the worst day in their 26-year history of trading at the exchanges, publicly trading. Wow. All
There you
right.
go.
Hey, let's talk about a few candidates that popped out today that look pretty good. I don't know what they're looking like right now, but with our masterminds this morning, we were looking at Microsoft. I still think that this is a pretty decent one here. Look at this. I mean, the 405 strike price.
Yeah, I think that Microsoft looks good. I was looking at it at 400. I did not trade it, but nice range there, and seems like you could sell some puts, maybe pick it up at a discount.
Yeah, what else did we have? Nvidia. Nvidia. Earlier this morning, the 100 strike price was available. Now it has moved up to 106, but I still think that this is a pretty decent trade. Let's actually see if we have it here. Yeah, the 104 is still available for 30% annualized.
Yeah, that's not bad. If you like Nvidia, I think it's a great opportunity. Chart wise, I know that Microsoft is four times the price, so a little expensive for some people. But chart wise, I like Microsoft better. But I thought this was a decent consideration too today.
Yeah. And then MU, I mean, looking at a chart, MU also looks really good and solid here on a chart. So MU,
Yep.
Micron Technology, another great candidate for the wheel here this morning. Able to sell puts at 84. That is currently 7% below the price.
Yeah, I had ASO on a maybe list too.
All right, ASO, let's take a
That
look at this. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Okay. Yeah, pushing higher. I think this morning there was a nicer strike price available. Right now, the strike price of 49 is
yeah,
available. This morning, I believe it was 47 or 48, right? Mark, what did you see?
I agree. I can't remember if it was 47, but 48 for sure. Now off the reversal, it's a little higher.
Yeah. Talking about the reversal, I mean, we need to see what's going on here in the markets. If they're still reversing or there's still some nervousness, and I mean, we got to continue our tradition of telling some bad dad jokes. Do you have one for us this morning?
Yeah, Marcus, I had a dream last night that I was a muffler. I woke up exhausted.
Okay.
Bad. You said bad dad jokes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going more with my animal theme and talking about tired. What do you call a tired bull? A
What,
bulldozer.
Marcus?
It's a
Ha ha
bulldozer.
ha
Okay,
ha.
one more. What do you call a cold puppy?
What?
A chili dog.
No, that's good.
Okay,
That's
okay,
good.
one more. Let me give one more. Why did the spider go to school? Well, he wanted to
To
be a web
become a web
designer.
developer. What?
Yeah. All right, you got this. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Going back to the markets, and we see on a 5 minute chart. That is not what I wanted to do. There we go. On a 5 minute chart, we see right now. Oh my gosh, we are trading at session highs for the S&P above 6,000 again. The Nasdaq also trading at session highs. Dow making session highs. And the IWM trading at session highs. So it seems that after the initial shock, traders seem to shake it off here.
It does look like there's some a little bit of optimism that maybe the tariffs being playing a little hardball actually is benefiting President Trump. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's no dull moment in the markets. I mean, this is the second time we are crashing on a Monday morning. Last week, it was based on the news of China of the new AI model DeepSeek. This morning on tariffs. I mean, we start Monday mornings with a bang here.
Oh yeah, never a dull moment, like you like to say.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, hope that you're enjoying this show and how we break down what's happening in the markets and also show you our trades. And if you do, we really appreciate it if you give us a like. There should be a like button somewhere here on this page. Also, if you find that others, or if you think that others might find this helpful, please share this episode with others. We will really appreciate it. And with that said, Mark, we'll be back next week. And this week, again, earnings and jobs. And now, new to the playbook, tariffs. Anyhow, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Happy trading, everybody.